Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. Well, what a week. It sure has been one for me, but I'm feeling a lot better, especially from the beginning of the week. But still not fully recovered, but I'm getting there. So I hope everybody is doing well. Ayo Carter, thank you so much for becoming a new member. And we're going to talk about Tim Scott coming out in the media to call liberals racist, as if the party that he comes from, they are not racist. So I think it's hilarious myself. And I think he got a lot of nerve. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I do not like Black conservatives. And I hope you're all listening. I hope every one of you out there, because I know y'all tune into me. I know you do. So let me break down why I don't like Black conservatives. Now, many of you will make this comment that Black liberals are on the plantation. And here's what I think about you. I think you are even worse when it comes down to being a slave on the plantation, because it's almost like every time the cameras are rolling, you act like you got to be sitting in front of the cameras insulting your own people in front of massa. So in my opinion, who the hell would want to be a Black conservative? Really? If the whole premise of being a Black conservative, you got to be against your own people, then the hell with you. You ain't worth dog do sitting on China. Okay? You're not worth that. And that's all y'all do. As soon as the cameras are rolling, you got to be in front of them cameras insulting your people. Candace Owens does it. Larry Elder does it. Jesse Lee Peterson does it. Tim Scott does it. Everyone and all of you on social media, you all do it too. I've seen some of your videos every time, black people this and black people that. But it's funny how white conservatives won't get in front of you and do the same thing. They sure won't get in front of your black ass and trash their people. But as soon as the cameras are rolling, that's what all of you black conservatives do. You are even worse on the plantation because not only are you on the plantation, you're Stephen on the plantation. Got some nerve talking about you should leave the liberal plantation and come over here. Come over there and be what? Stephen? A bigger coon like you? No, thank you. No, thank you to all black conservatives because you're all a bunch of raccoons as far as I'm concerned. So now that I got you all worked up, let's get into what Tim Scott did. Tim Scott was called out for cheesing around Donald Trump. Okay, he gave this speech and I love you. Told Donald Trump like a good slave going up to his master saying, I love you, because he did say that to Donald Trump. He said to Donald Trump, I love you. And Donald Trump even thought it was odd that he took his side, being that Nikki Haley was the one that appointed Tim Scott to the Senate. So you can tell he has no loyalty at all. He has no loyalty whatsoever. He wouldn't even be in the Senate right now if it wasn't for her appointing him there. He was in Congress. Okay, that's where he was. And this man has denied racism over and over and over and over. He has denied racism, but he does what you see black conservatives do. There is no racism when it happens to all of us. But as soon as it happens to them, then all of a sudden, that's the only time when racism exists. Okay, the only time it exists is when it happens to them. We seen Candace do this. Now Tim Scott is doing it. I've seen Jesse Lee Peterson on video calling white people racist, but when they get on the job, there's no racism. Or if there's, or just watch their pattern, especially, you know who's real predictable? Candace Owens. Like if we're in an uproar about something, she'll sit back and watch and listen. And then within 24 hours, she'll come out with her opposing video. I mean, y'all are so predictable, it's not even funny. In my opinion, the black conservative, your logo should be a mess of biscuits and a picture of Steven in the middle of the biscuits. That should be your logo. Got some nerve talking about come over there and act like you. No, thank you. No, thank you. So let's get into this. So Tim Scott got called out for licking and lapping upon Donald Trump's behind. And it was all over, CNN, MSNBC, they were calling him out. So he was invited on Fox News. And Tim Scott said that most races in the country are liberal. Now, wait a minute. You said racism wasn't in the country. You said nobody was racist. America is not a racist country. So now it went from America is not a racist country to liberals are the most racist in the country. Well, it can't be both. Tim Scott, it can't be both. It can't be both. Okay, what's up? So now he went from America's not a racist country to liberals are the most racist. No, see, the party you're in, one thing I do know, when it comes down to racism, the left and the right stand shoulder to shoulder on their racism. And conservatives don't even try to hide it. So I don't even know what you're talking about. And the fact that you are the only Black man in the Senate should tell you that racism is very prevalent. Look at the nation. Does the nation look all white? But the Senate is. That should say it all right there. It should say it all. So let's get into what he said. Let's get into what this mushmouth said. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me see if I can share. Okay, so this one, yeah, it's that one. All right, y'all, here we go.
I mean, it was humiliating to watch what Tim Scott did.
Tim Scott, he's this big man. What is he so afraid of? What are they so afraid of? Is Donald Trump going to punch him in the nose, if he doesn't suck up to him like that? I mean, there's plenty of...
All right, there's a lot more. Here now to respond, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Senator, identity groups in America, you're not allowed to attack them, but there seems to be open season on one group, conservative African Americans. I'm sure you're sick and tired of it, because I certainly am. Some of these comments are repulsive.
Absolutely. They're vile and disgusting comments coming from the far left. Sean, the most racist in the country are liberals. The bigotry that comes from the far radical left, it's just normal these days. Why? Because they're trying not just to attack me, but they're trying to make sure that any other minority who will think for themselves and consider the GOP, they want to send a message to every single one of them. Step out of line and we'll attack you too. That level of intimidation doesn't work with me. And to every single African-American, Hispanic, millennial, anybody in the majority population or minority population, if you believe in conservatism, stand up and be counted. If you want to make America the greatest nation on God's green earth, step into the fire, because we have to save this nation. We better save it right now, because the radical left, they're so afraid of people like me, people like you, Sean, thinking for ourselves, speaking out and speaking the truth, that they will do anything they possibly can to silence the truth. But it doesn't work with me. It's not going to work with others.
You're going to be on anybody's short list to be a potential vice president of our country. That's just a fact. Is this a means of just trying to intimidate you, threaten you, or maybe they're threatened by you? Just asking.
They are certainly threatened by me. Absolutely, Sean, they're threatened by me, and they're threatened by people like me. Here's what they refuse to say. They refuse to say the truth. Under Joe Biden, crime in devastated neighborhoods, crime in impoverished neighborhoods, crime in Black neighborhoods has skyrocketed. When you defund the police, disrespect the police, what do you expect? We've seen devastation after devastation in big liberal Democratic city after big liberal Democrat city. What they're asking for is the same thing conservatives are asking for, a restoration of law and order. They want more policing, not less policing. These are law-abiding citizens that under Joe Biden, crime is high, inflation is high, unemployment is devastating. You can't even afford to buy a house in Bidenomics. So you add together high crime, high inflation, low opportunities, and minorities, millennials, and women all looking to our party for hope. We're bringing it.
And by the way,
GOP coming your way.
I just happen to know you personally. I know that this engagement has been a long time coming. I'm not going to give out any more information than that.
Yes.
And they're even attacking you on that. And it's pretty disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves, but I don't think they have shame. We're very happy for you.
Okay, so that's what he said, y'all. That is just disgusting. So you said America's not a racist nation. And then when they talk disparagingly about you, which you actually did deserve, because you were the one that put that out there, that it wasn't racist. And now that you're being talked about and people are pointing out how you were cheesing around Donald Trump. Now all of a sudden liberals are racist. But you know, this is why. This is why nobody is joining you on the right. Yeah, there's some people going over there, but you're not going to get the big masses. You know, like Candace with that Blexit crap she had going on. Ain't nobody joining you. Look at how y'all act. You act like a bunch of buffoons as soon as the cameras roll. Who would want to join you with that? So my thing is, we shouldn't be on anybody's plantation. Stay off the left's plantation and definitely stay off the right's plantation. Because these folks are full of crap. They want to, you show me one, y'all, that is about their people. It is very rare and far between for you to find one. Most Black conservatives are tap dancers. That's what most of you are. The most ones they put in front of the cameras, if they got a camera on them, they are tap dancing. That's what the vast majority of them are. If you meet one and they're with us, that is like a diamond in the rough, because you just don't see that a lot. It is almost like they have to denounce their Blackness in order to be a conservative. That's what it seems like to me. But, you know, don't believe the hype, y'all. It's demons on both sides. Don't let them lure you in on the right to sit with another batch of demons. Why sit with a demon at all? That's the way I see it. Don't sit with demons at all. And this right here should show you how badly corrupt politics really, truly is, even if the politician is a Black man or Black woman. I was listening to a video the other day of Barbara Lee. She was talking. So she went into talking about an incident that occurred when she was in the Capitol and a white security guard didn't recognize that she was, you know, a congresswoman. So she spoke on that racism, right? And then she turned around and spoke about racism against Native Americans and migrants. She didn't say nothing about the Black community, just her own personal. I said, y'all all the same. You got to open your eyes. When it comes down to these politicians, they're all the same, y'all. It don't matter if it's a conservative or a liberal. If they are Black, they are all the same. They are all the same. You know, all of them are. I don't feel bad if they lose their elections. I really don't feel bad. That's why I was glad to see what happened to Sheila Jackson Lee when she lost the race for mayor in Houston. It serves her butt right. Serves her right. We don't need people like Tim Scott. This is not the representation our community need. He is absolutely what you don't want to be in life. Everything he does is to please white folks. Now, y'all, Sean Hannity is who he interviewed with. Y'all want to know what Sean Hannity was before he was on Fox News? Sean Hannity was a man working in construction. He was a man working in construction. He had no experience in media. But you see how easy it is for them to have no background in something and still rise through the ranks. So there you go. But I bet you if it was a Black man in construction and he wanted to get into the media, they would have all kinds of issues with it. So the only thing Tim Scott needs to do is stay out of the camera and keep Black people out of your mouth. For real. Okay? Keep us out of your mouth. Because if the only way you can look good to white conservatives is to talk bad about the Black community, then it ain't even worth anybody's while to even look into being conservative. It's not worth anybody's while, Tim Scott. You look like a fool. And what was said about you in the media is the truth. You did coon and buffoon for Donald Trump. And now you're jumping up to get married this year because you think you are a potential VP. Let me tell you something. I am one of these people that live right next to New York, and we heard New York news all the time, and we seen the racism from Donald Trump and his family. Okay, it will be a cold day in hell before you are picked as VP. He is not picking no Tim Scott, y'all. In fact, this morning when I was looking through articles, it says that Donald Trump was looking to talk to RFK Jr. as a potential VP. Donald Trump is going to pick a white man just like himself. He ain't picking no Vivek. He ain't picking no Tim Scott. He ain't going to pick Namrata. He ain't picking none of them. He going to pick a white male. That's going to be his VP. Period. Tim Scott don't have a chance in hell of being VP for Donald Trump. It don't matter what cheesing he do, it ain't gonna happen. This dude is wasting his time. But this man is so far gone. Years ago, I had a friend from South Carolina, and even that friend told me they love their state. But they told me, Lisa, you would hate the cooning that goes on in South Carolina. He said, think about all the coons you met and multiply that. That's what we have in South Carolina. Man, Tim Scott is the epitome of that. He really, truly is. I'm sure there are riders down there, but the person I was friends with was from North Charleston. And he was saying it's nothing but cooning all over the place down there. And the sad part, you would think our biggest riders would come out of the South because of everything you've gone through, but it don't seem to be that way. It don't seem to be that way at all. So y'all, that's all I got to say about Tim. And people went back on X and started calling him Uncle Tim again, all over X. And that's exactly what he is. And he's just butt sore that people are calling him out for the obvious. See, him getting married to that woman, she ain't going to tell him. She ain't going to tell him. She's married. She'll be married to a senator and enjoying that life with him. And she ain't going to never correct him on what he's doing and all the cooning he's doing. She ain't going to do nothing. Uh-huh. So this is where he stands, and just saying, Tim, if that's what you got to do to be on the right, no thank you, man. No thank you. Y'all, thank you for being here, and we will come back on another topic at another time. Shalom, family.